is creating steam, and what the readings we're seeing now suggest that it's off scale for the instrumentation that's being used by workers, which is 10 sieverts per hour. So right now it looks like
just 10,000 millisieverts.
It's 1 million millirem. It's 500. So 500 rem is a lethal dose. This is 1,000 rem coming out of these cracks. So we're seeing, doses that could cause fatalities within days.
Just put this in a context that people understand. You said it's 1 million millirems. How many millirems is, say, a dental X-ray or chest X-ray?
Well, the U.S. NRC, the permissible dose for the public is 100 millirem per year. This is 1 million millirem per hour.
Wow.
So these are lethal doses that are coming up out of the ground. So, they've been looking to contain this accident by building tents over the reactor units, which is kind of ludicrous in and of itself and shows the desperation measures that are now being employed. But now it's coming up out of the ground through cracks around the facility, so the accident is now clearly much more seriously out of control than they're willing to admit.
It's escaped into the wild, essentially.
Absolutely. And, we were involved in a NRC, U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission hearing on July 28th of this year, where the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission basically admitted that fuel fragments found over 1.5 miles away from the facility did not come from explosions from the fuel pool, from those spent fuel pools up on top of the reactor buildings that we've been talking about. These were fuel, according to the U.S. Nuclear Regulatory Commission, those fuel fragments were ejected from the reactor cores in those explosions.
Wow.
So
the cores were breached immediately.
That seems to be the concern right now, and we continue to see stories about aerosolized radioactivity turning up on the West Coast. I think the most recent story
the Los Angeles Times.
Absolutely.
The headline: radioactive isotope may be from Fukushima detected. It's radioactive.
Absolutely. And
sulfur, which is the breakdown product of chlorine.
Yeah, from seawater being poured onto those reactors in those early days.
Found in La Jolla, California.
Yes, and so again, the problem is that, as we pointed out on our very first interview with you, that the first thing to be controlled in these nuclear accidents is the information. And now, 160 days into this accident, and still worsening, we still see that the information is being withheld. There's an incredible lag time, months before we really understand the situation.
This fellow who testified before the Diet said 20 to 29 times more radiation has been emitted from Fukushima than the Hiroshima bomb. I mean, this horrified the Japanese, made the Japanese press. This was a big deal in Japan. I didn't see it mentioned in a single newspaper in the United States.
Right.
So is the blackout here, there, or in both places?
It's a global nuclear industry that can control the airwaves, the media, and really we're really dependent upon indie media right now, like your program, like what's on the blogs, what's coming up on YouTube. This is where news on Fukushima breaks first.
Wow. Just to clarify, in the last minute we have here, in a China